there's a relatively new invention that over the next several years will be so successful that it will equal the GDP of China and India combined. The second and third largest countries in the world. Actually, the first and the third largest countries. First of all, does anyone want to guess what that investment is?
Bitcoin.
Good guess. Give you a hint, it's tech related. I think you're in tech. You actually mentioned the word.
AI.
AI, artificial intelligence. Now, I'm not a tech at all. I'm in finance. However, I did have the opportunity to live in Silicon Valley for 9 years, and our office was on the Google campus. And so every night when I'd come home from work, I'd come home behind Google's self-driving car. It was wild to see sometimes no one in the car, sometimes an engineer who wasn't driving, but he was evaluating things. So I started paying attention to tech. And in my last job, I was traveling about half the time all over the US, sometimes globally. So one time I was in San Francisco airport. They had this amazing independent bookstore that would do reviews. And so I happened to pick up this book called Humans Need Not Apply. And it was all about artificial intelligence. And it was this thick, paperback, easy to read, broken out by chapters. The impacts on the military, impact on the job, impact on time-saving devices, education, everything. So I had a trip to New York, so I was halfway across the country and I had the book devoured. And since then, I've become a fanatic about artificial intelligence. And this book, by the way, was recommended by The Economist magazine, is one of the top business books of 2014. The man who wrote it, and I apologize, I forget his name. If I prepared this speech, I would have looked this up. But he was a guy in Silicon Valley, went to Stanford, got his PhD in computer science, made his money in the dot-com era, and then retired at a young age. And then I think there was a change of life, maybe a divorce, so he kind of had to go back to work. I don't know, but he ended up running Stanford's artificial intelligence lab. So he was on the ground floor of what was happening in AI. So anyway, so long story short, I moved back to Chicago, went to Ideas Week last year. Has anyone ever been to Ideas Week, heard about it?
Yeah, I heard.
It's amazing. Highly recommend it. My good friend Maureen, I used to work with 20 years ago here in Chicago, goes every year. This guy Brad Kewell, who helped found Groupon among a bunch of other companies in Chicago. This is his baby, and it's been going over a decade now. It's 2 weeks. Amazing. They have leaders in the world in tech, in the arts, in film, politicians. Every session only costs $10 to $15, and you get to hear these phenomenal speakers. So because I wasn't working, I was like, oh, I'll go see what they have to say. And I got to hear this guy, Kai-Fu Lee, who's now back in China. He's one of the preeminent leaders in artificial intelligence speak. And in fact, he just wrote a book called AI Superpowers. And a couple months ago, he was featured on 60 Minutes. And he was fascinated talking about what's going to happen in AI. So just example, the military. Imagine if we had the ability to, instead of having our troops go in, say the Navy SEALs, go in undercover, middle of the night, risk their lives to attack some bad guys or whatever, the enemy, right? Imagine if instead we have the ability to take a drone that's the size of a mosquito and put it in through a vent in a building to the room where the bad guys or girls are. It's filled with some poison gas, takes them all out. No human life is risked. We actually have that technology. We've had that for years now because of AI. A couple years ago, I happened to see Charlie Rose, when Charlie Rose was still on TV, interviewing Bill Gates, and they were talking about AI. And Charlie Rose goes, you know, is it true that we are going to develop a machine that is smarter than a human? Bill Gates says yes. Charlie Rose says, is it true that we are going to develop a machine that will be 50 times smarter than a human? Bill Gates says yes. And he says, is it true that we're going to develop a machine that's 100 times smarter than a human? And Bill Gates says yes. and so Charlie Rose had asked, well, when is this going to happen? And Bill Gates basically says, within the next 50 years, this will happen. So Charlie Rose likely says, well, aren't you concerned what's going to happen when this thing comes to pass? And Bill Gates basically says, yes, but it's all going to be about who controls the machine. That's who's going to win the wars, who controls the machines. So that's just the power of what's going to happen. And then going back to this book I read, Humans Need Not Apply, they talk about changes in the job market. And so did Kai-Fu Lee in his presentation in his book. Kai-Fu Lee has an amazing chart that shows the jobs that will be destroyed because of AI, that are already being destroyed, and the jobs that will be created. So anything, he had a chart in the upper right-hand quadrant, is highly creative and very hard to automate. So like if you are a CEO, for example, your job is pretty safe. It's hard to automate your way. Now, the challenge is there are only so many CEO jobs to go around. Other jobs, like nursing, anything that's high touch, needs a human, needs empathetic empathy, is going to survive. It may have AI as a helper in a way, but he said nursing, education, totally safe. And this is interesting. Amazon has come out, it was in the news again last week, that they're retraining a lot of people in their warehouses in their 4 fields for free. You get a free education. One is software engineer, they'll retrain you into nursing, another computer one, and I forget what the 4th one. Oh, aviation, like an air traffic controller. Because all those warehouses, they've got robots and AI that can do all that stuff now. So it's going to majorly change the job force, and even things like the world I'm in, investment management, companies now like Google and BlackRock are using artificial intelligence to invest better than humans. And that'll do away with analyst jobs, portfolio manager jobs, not right away, but over time, that's going to happen. So the job market's going to change dramatically. Bad news, and when Kai-Fu Lee was asked this question, this was an AI company in Chicago who was asked by a data scientist, and the data scientist says, well, hey, isn't my job safe because I'm working in artificial intelligence? And Kai-Fu Lee says, yes, right now you are in great demand. For the next 3 years, you're going to be very safe. He said, however, in a decade, the machines will be doing your job. We won't need you. That's how fast this stuff is changing. So it's really important to pay attention for all of us in our careers that we can stay ahead of it. But it's not really bad news. So Kai-Fu Lee was pretty pessimistic. He said, and they edited this out of 60 Minutes, which was interesting, but in the live speech he gave to the people here, someone said, well, will it destroy more jobs than it creates, or will it create more? Because you read in the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, popular press, they always say it's like agriculture. 100 years ago in America, 97% of the population was employed in farming. Now it's less than 3%. And look, we're not starving, right? So they make that same argument for job creation with AI. But Kai-Fu Lee said, actually, no, it's going to destroy more jobs than it's going to create. Because if you go to China, for example, look at how many unemployed bankers there are now because they've been AI'd out of a job. So something to pay attention to. So that's bad, but the good is the labor-saving devices. So not only with the self-driving cars will help. I've got an 85-year-old mother. She can't drive anymore. Thank God she's got dementia. She was driving too long. But for people who can't drive, that's amazing if you can call up a car once they perfect their technology to take you to the grocery store. Other labor-saving devices, they had a program on 60 Minutes about Japan. Japan has one, in the developed world, one of the oldest populations in the world, and so they've had to implement things with their senior citizens. And so they've used AI to get pills to patients to help people. The same thing with AI as we move forward. We'll be able to walk into our homes, tell our homes to run our dishwasher, run our laundry, feed the cat, and iron the sheets. So there will be some good that comes out of this as well. So keep your eye on AI.